I get to lead a team of fantastic and brilliant concept artists, and our role is to create the characters that you see in the game. That's everything from the main hero cast you see to the creatures, the gods, and monsters that you come across. The hope is that we get something that feels unique and stands up to the history and the legacy of what the God of War franchise has always done. I feel like from the first games, that was a similar approach that they were doing.
Come in.
What in all yarns be the happened to him?
As the beautiful concept art provided to us, we do this by making materials stand out instantaneously. So when you see our characters on the screen, we want you to almost like them immediately or have a connection to them to some extent before even interacting with them.
As art director, I get the chance to collaborate with all the departments because we want to make sure the factions feel correct, all the races belong to where they're supposed to be, like all the realms have very specific characteristics about them to make sure it all fits within the God of War universe.
Sorry, one more thing. Although, these are gifts I'm giving to you, so I shouldn't be sorry and you should be thankful. Anyways, here, please be careful.
In the God of War 2018, we saw Brock and Sindri, where they're from, and a great part of that too is we want to make sure that we expand the cast. You know, we've just seen a little bit of what was represented, and that was something that we hadn't seen.
You go from wetlands to mountain springs and took a lot of inspiration from hot springs, from the minerals that you find, a lot of colorful minerals, a lot of resources. So the dwarves being the races that they are, we knew we wanted to play on that as well. So you see their influence on Svartalfheim on every corner.
It's a realm of water environments. There's quarries. It's a very industrial city. It's very organized, and you can see all the dwarves putting all the work into creating this great city where they live in.
Blacksmiths, that was kind of reflected within their clothing, and you see that within the houses. In every inch, we want to make sure that both the environments and characters had a cohesiveness that felt like every inch of it felt like it went together and was designed specifically by them. And again, that's something that we haven't seen in some of the other realms and is unique to these characters and their location. And the hope, it all goes together and creates a feeling within a realm that you're excited to see, feels unique, and really creates that sense of wonder where you want to go back.
Atreus!
When designing a character to match the geography around it, first the biz dev team and the narrative team and the story team, they make sure the character is designed for features that fit in with what they need.
When designing the Grim, the environment, so we took a lot of inspiration from lizards, creatures that kind of belong to that environment. They have those big claws. There's small critters to the big ones, and really building up that race, making sure they kind of belong and that realm felt lived in and that ecosystem felt.
Was a big part that goes into the design elements. So our artist Stephen Oakley pulled a lot from the environment concepts that Luke Berliner and his team were doing and put a lot of those into actually the skin texture, even the bulk and volumes that you see in the characters. So it really does feel like not only do they belong in there, but you're able to see them and they stand out for the combat experiences with the character.
In the example of Durling, his design was really tailored to convey his own personality. He's a bookkeeper from Svartalfheim, and because his job demands, he's very organized, he's very rigid, and he's a very play-by-the-rules kind of guy. But then in contrast, you have his friend. So when you see Durling connect with his pet, we see that he's not all just this rigid librarian guy, but that he's...
We work to make these characters that then tell a story, and we can also kind of put those features and traits on our rigs.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming!
Svartalfheim, the dwarves, working with them, go through the level, you find out a lot more about this race and the political situation that is happening while Ragnarok and Fimbulwinter is taking place.
Hey, dwarves! Oh. They're, running away.
One thing that our hope is with the cast of characters within every realm is not that it's just enemies there to kill you. We want to feel believable and that there's a wide world out there, but we want a realm that there's more outside of what you're playing, and we want the fans to feel like they can go back and really visit those areas and want to go explore.
If the geysers and smell here are worse because of Fimbulwinter, maybe the earthquakes are too?
Aye.
Going into Svartalfheim, I'm really excited for players to experience all the new races that lived in that realm before. There's wildlife, it's something that kind of goes unnoticed, but we took a lot of effort to make the realm feel believable. So there's a lot in Svartalfheim, a lot to explore.
I'm really excited. After looking through some of the cinematics and playing some of the cinematics and playing through some of the puzzles, I'm so excited how water plays such a big feature in that realm, and that is so cool.
I'm most excited finally get to see how the dwarves live. Brok and Sindri were fan favorites in the last game, so I think that all the work that we've put into Svartalfheim is going to make all the other dwarves shine just as bright.
To make sure we do right by the fans, and knowing that all the work we put in will be seen and appreciated. That's not always the case, but our fans just get every little nook and cranny on that, and we love that, and we packed a lot of that in for this new cast, and we hope you guys get the same feeling with God.
You don't really want war, do you, Kratos?
Are you a calm and reasonable person? War is not the only way.
Maybe that's what Mother wanted.
You do not know what Mother wanted.
Time is running out.
Fate only binds you if you let it. Death can have me when it allows me. We will make our own destiny. You must prepare yourself.
That is then followed by Ragnarok. It's an apocalyptic war between all the Norse gods. Kratos is understandably worried about his son and what it means for him.
You get to go on this journey with how Atreus grows into a young adult and how Kratos grows into his next era in his life, and really see kind of the parent that he's striving to be, but the person he's striving to be.
These limitations that we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed. We still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
Whether the Norse saga was... There were obviously pros and cons for either approach. So we waited for Cory Barlog to weigh in, and he did, and he said, let's do it in two.
The consequence to that is, and do Ragnarok justice. How do we lead up to that and then have a big moment at the end of the game and wrap up all those threads? This game is bigger than what we initially envisioned. There's a lot of important story moments that we needed to cover. There are more characters that we follow the threads of, and ultimately it ends up feeling big and epic because there is a lot.
The ringer. But we also bring them closure, and we provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new combat that we're doing and the new interactions. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this title that I think.
And this story is about how you process that, how you own it, and how you make it a part of yourself and grow from it.
I mean, between Freya and Kratos, we're going to see how the evolution of the family relationship continues. You got Brok and Sindri, the dwarves, who are kind of part of your makeshift family now. And there's going to be some other characters that we introduce that maybe going to disrupt the balance a little bit.
Very satisfying combat, beautiful and rich environments to explore, outstanding character art, a lush and moving soundtrack and soundscape.
In God of War 2018, we traversed Midgard and its massive Lake of the Nine, Alfheim, home to light and dark elves, Helheim, the underworld, alongside Jotunheim, the land of giants, and even Niflheim and Muspelheim, which pushed players' skills to the limit with combat trials. Sadly, Odin barred access to the remaining realms, but director Eric Williams told me we'll get to explore all 9 in God of War Ragnarok, and that the ones we've seen before will feel new again. But without further ado, welcome to Svartalfheim, a realm that exemplifies dwarven ingenuity. I'm talking technical marvels like mine pits, artificial water channels, and sprawling cities, all setting the stage for potentially complex environmental puzzles. To navigate the new realm, we'll need to rely on Kratos' toolset, his weapons, and yes, his son, Atreus. In Svartalfheim, Kratos can freeze geysers by way of the Leviathan axe, dismantle pots with his blades of chaos, and command the boy to interact with out-of-reach devices. I spoke with 2 level designers about Svartalfheim's creation, and both talked about evolving the gameplay in larger spaces. The world and its mechanics reflect the narrative. In the reveal trailer, we watched Kratos and company use sled wolves to get from one far-off point to the next. But in less frozen areas, like Svartalfheim, we'll row down streams or through open waters in a canoe. Perhaps there will be more transportation methods, but for now, all of this suggests a journey vaster and bolder than what came before. For more on the cover story, head to our hub at GameInformer.com/GOW Ragnarok, or swing by our YouTube channel for more gameplay content. Hello, it's Jay from Game Informer. God of War games are known for their expressive, gritty action, and Ragnarok looks to be no different. In fact, 2 lead combat designers told me their process is inspired by a badass studio catchphrase, play with your food. And you can see how Kratos lives up to that philosophy, grappling ledges with his blades of chaos, and launching opponents with the 2 new Dauntless and Stonewall arm shields. Atreus assists the war effort by stunning with arrows, destroying obstructions, swinging his bow, and summoning spectral allies like in the last game. One big change that's pretty easy to miss unless you're playing is the new ability mapped to the triangle button. By holding or mashing triangle, Kratos activates his weapon's signature move. Depending on whether he has a Leviathan axe or Blades of Chaos equipped, Kratos can infuse his steel with ice or fire. These elemental moves, called Frost Awaken, and won't know everything included until launch, it's still cool to see how the team even extended their efforts to the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. You can map several actions to swipes on the touchpad, like Navigation Assist, which immediately points your camera toward the objective, Spartan Rage, Quick Turns, Shield Strikes, and even high contrast color palettes. Pavlin said it was all about finding a healthy balance between God of War's intensity and enabling players to overcome challenges in meaningful ways.
Everyone keeps secrets. Sometimes it's the only way to protect the ones we love.
I know you. God Killer. What is it you want from me? Is it a god of war you came to find?
You don't really want war, do you, Kratos? All that blood on your hands? On your son's hands?
What is it you will not tell me?
I can't talk about it, but I just need you to trust me.
We follow your every whim.
But you don't believe in any of it.
And still I follow. Because all that matters is that you are safe.
But that's not all that matters. Who's keeping you safe?
I do not need you to protect me.
You sure about that?
Pretender God! For the old father!
Death can have me when it earns me.
What do you even know of God's word? In your lifetimes, has anyone ever worshipped you? Ever prayed to you? Can you even imagine that kind of love? No! You don't care about anything beyond yourself. Beyond the monster who kills without cause.
Fate only binds you if you let it. Do what is necessary. Not because it is written.
Time is running out. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming. My story doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there, finding out who I am, who Loki is.
I will not allow you to pick a fight with gods.
I don't want to fight anymore. I just want answers.
And if those answers lead to war with Asgard,
maybe that's what Mother wanted.
we do not know what Mother wanted.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere. Odin's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.
What if there was someone who could help us?
You mean Tyr, the old god of war in these lands, who is dead?
Well, for a dead man, Odin seemed pretty keen on seeing he wasn't found.
If he's out there, we gotta find him.
Come in. What in all yarns be the happened to him?
We're trying to stop Ragnarok, to help people. And what if the only way to do that is war?
War is not the only way.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general.
No! You seem like a calm and reasonable person. Are you a calm and reasonable person? In moments of crisis, panic does nothing. Harness it. Let it serve you.
Tyr!
Are you coming with us?
You'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them.